Welcome to another Ultimate GED Math Practice Test from ultimateged.com. We encourage you to try every question first. If you already have the Ultimate GED Math course, you can refer to the topics for further clarification. If you don't have the course, use this to know your strengths and weakness. Let's dive right in. Question 1. Write the number 455.32 in scientific notations. To write in scientific notations, we have to move the decimal behind the first non-zero number. Then multiply the new number by 10 exponent the number of times we moved. If we move to the right, then we have a negative exponent. If we move to the left, then we have a positive exponent. So here, we have to move the decimal behind the 4. Since it's the first non-zero number, we start from where the decimal point is and we move 2 points to the left. So this will be times 10 to the power positive 2, since we moved to the left. So our final answer is 4.5532 times 10 to the power 2. Question 2. What is the slope of a line parallel to y equals 4x plus 3? If you see a question like this on the GED, consider it an easy bonus point. There are two things you have to know and remember to answer this question. The first is that the equation is in the slope-intercept form of the equation of a line. Y equals mx plus b. In this form, the coefficient of the x or the number with the x is your slope. So here the slope is 4. Secondly, you have to know that parallel lines have the same slopes. So if a line is parallel to y equals 4x plus 3, then the slope of that line must also be 4. So our answer is 4. Question 3. Which line is perpendicular to y equals 2x plus 5? A. Y equals 2x minus 1. B. Y equals negative 2x plus 5. C. Y equals 3 over 4x plus 5. D. Y equals negative 1 over 2x plus 1. The slope of a perpendicular line is the negative reciprocal of the slope of the original line. The reciprocal of a number is basically flipping the numerator and denominator. So reciprocal of 3 over 4 will be 4 over 3. Here, we know the slope of the question is 2, since this is in the slope-intercept form of the equation of a line. Just like we saw in question 2. 2 is the same as 2 over 1. The reciprocal is 1 over 2. The negative reciprocal of 2 is therefore negative 1 over 2. We are looking for the answer which has a slope of negative 1 over 2. Choice D has the coefficient of the x to be negative 1 over 2. That means choice D has a slope of negative 1 over 2. This is the negative reciprocal of the slope 2 in the question. Therefore, it's perpendicular. Question 4. Given that f of x equals 2x plus 4, find f of 3. The work here is just substituting the x with 3. So we have f of 3 equals 2 times 3 plus 4. 2 times 3 plus 4 is 10. Therefore, f of 3 equals 10. Please, don't get confused when changes are made to questions like this. Stick to the process and you'll get the correct answer. If you are supposed to find f of x plus 2, we just replace the x with x plus 2. We have f of x plus 2 equals 2 times x plus 2 plus 4. We can distribute the 2. 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 2 is 4. We can then simplify. 4 plus 4 is 8. So we have f of x plus 2 equals 2x plus 8. We followed the same process. Question 5. If a spinner is divided into 8 equal sections, with 3 sections labeled A, 2 sections labeled B, and 3 sections labeled C, what is the probability of landing on B? The probability of landing on a section labeled B can be found by dividing the number of sections labeled B by the total number of sections on the spinner. In this case, the spinner is divided into 8 equal sections, with 2 sections labeled B. Therefore, the probability of landing on B is 2 over 8. We can reduce this fraction. 2 can divide itself 1 and 8 divided by 2 is 4. Probability of landing on B is therefore 1 over 4. Find the slope of the line. The slope of a line is the change in y over the change in x. The change in y simply means how many points you are going up or down. If you are going up, then you have a positive change. If you are going down, then you have a negative change. The change in x simply means how many points you are going to the right or left. If you are going to the right, then you have a positive change. If you are going to the left, then you have a negative change. Take a moment and let this sink in. It is the basis of most of the things we will be doing with slopes and graphs. Let's look at our question. Our first step will be to choose any 2 points on the line. I am choosing these 2 points. Let me call them A and B. You can choose any 2 points on the line. However, it is important to choose points that will make your work easier. Choose points whose x and y values can be easily determined. Normally, points at the corners are best. Any of these points would have worked well also. Now, to find the slope, all we are doing is moving from one point of the line to the other on the slope triangle. Let's move from B to A. We moved down 2 points. Notice moving down is negative. So we have -2 here. Then we will move to the left one to get to A. Notice that moving to the left is negative. We have -1 here. -2 over -1 is simply 2. So our slope is 2. We could have also moved from A to B. Let's look at it. We have our slope triangle here. We move 2 points up. Moving up is positive, so we have 2. Then we will move to the right one. Moving to the right is positive. So we have 1. 2 over 1 is the same as 2. We notice that we got the same answer. There are other things you can do, but I don't want to get you confused with that. Notice that our first movement is always change in y, that is moving up or down. Then our second movement is change in x. That is moving left or right. Question 7. 3 over 5 equals 9 over n. Find n. This is a typical proportion setup. We will first cross multiply. 3 times n is 3n, and 9 times 5 is 45. We can now divide both sides by the 3. The 3 will cancel out. 45 divided by 3 is 15. So n equals 15. Question 8. Find the slope of a line that passes through the point 25 and the point 69. To find the slope of a line given 2 points, we will use the slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Formulas are given on most tests, so don't worry too much about it. Please note that you can call any of the point 1 or 2. I'm choosing this as 1 and this as 2. When you have a point, the first value is your x, and the second value is your y. Since we are calling this point 1, we will have x1, y1 here. Same thing for this. Since we are calling this our point 2, we can call this x2, y2. We just put the values into the formula. We have 9, which is y2, minus 5, which is y1, divided by 6, which is x2, minus 2, which is x1. We simplify. 9 minus 5 is 4, over 6 minus 2, which is also 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So the slope is 1. Question 9. A company charges a flat rate for installation of a product, plus $3 per month for a maintenance plan. If the total cost after 8 months is $74, what was the cost of installation? We really want you to become used to word problems. The more you practice, the better you become. The company charges a flat rate for installation and $3 monthly fee for maintenance. The total cost after 8 months will be the cost of installation, plus the cost of maintenance plan for 8 months. The total cost has been given as $74. We don't know the initial installation cost. Let's represent it with X. The maintenance plan for 8 months will be the cost per month, which is 3 months, times the number of months, which is 8 months. We multiply this to get 24. Now we have 74 equals x plus 24. We solve for x, one-step equation. Subtract 24 from both sides. The 24 will cancel out. 74 minus 24 is 50. So the cost for installation is $50. Question 10. Find the measure of the angle below. Here, the first thing you have to identify is that this is a right triangle because of this mark here. This means this angle is 90 degrees. We know that the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. So we can add 40 plus 90 plus b, and this must be equal to 180. 40 plus 90 is 130. We have 130 plus b equals 180. One-step equation. Subtract 130 from both sides to get b equals 50 degrees. There's a faster way to solve this, but knowing how to solve it by adding everything and equating it to 180 is so important I don't want to even teach any other way. This will ensure you get the answer correct no matter the twist. Question 11. Find x given the triangle below. Questions like this is the reason why I like the setup of adding all the interior angles and equating it to 180. We add up the angles. X plus 20 plus 2x plus 10 plus 2x minus 5 equals 180. We add all the x terms. 1 plus 2 to get 5x. Then we add all the numbers, 20 plus 10 minus 5 to get 25. So we have 5x plus 25 equals 180. We have a two-step equation. We subtract 25 from both sides to get 5x equals 155. Then we divide both sides by 5 to get x equals 31. We could have been asked to find the actual angles. In this case, we would replace the x in each of the angles with 31. So for the angle x plus 20, we will have 31 plus 20 to get 51 degrees here. For the angle 2x plus 10, we will have 2 times 31 plus 10. This will be 72 degrees. And finally, for the angle 2x minus 5, we will have 2 times 31 minus 5. This will be 57 degrees. Question 12. Find the angle x below. You can have questions in which you'll need to use other properties of straight lines to get the interior angles of the triangle. The two most common ones are vertical angles and angles on a straight line. We've already done both. In this question, we can find angle B using the idea of vertical angles. We know that vertical angles are equal. So if this angle is 70 degrees, then the opposite angle B will also be 70 degrees. To find angle A, we know that this is a straight angle. Angles on a straight line must be equal to 180 degrees. So if this is 120 degrees, then A will be 60 degrees. 60 plus 120 is 180. Now we add all our interior angles and equate it to 180. We have 70 plus 60 plus x equals 180. I'm sure you can do this by now. We solve it to get x equals 50 degrees. There's another way we could have solved it, once we knew the angle B is 70. In a triangle, the exterior angle is equal to the sum of the two opposite interior angles. So in this figure, the exterior angle 120 is equal to the sum of the two opposite interior angle. That's x and 70. So we can write 70 plus x must be equal to 120. We solve for x to get x equals 50 degrees. Notice we got the same answer. Question 13. What function represents the information in the table? A. F of x equals 2x plus 1. B. F of x equals x minus 3. C. F of x equals x plus 3. D. F of x equals 3x minus 3. Here, the best way is to solve it from the answers. We input the x values into the various functions and see if we will get our f of x values. For teaching purpose, we are going through everything. You don't have to on the test. You can accurately eyeball and eliminate obvious wrong choices. Since it's easy to work with 0, I'll try that first so I can narrow the possible answers. Replace x with 0 for choice A. 2 times 0 plus 1 equals 1. It was supposed to be -3, so choice A is definitely wrong. Replace x in choice B with 0. 0 minus 3 equals -3, so choice B is a possible answer. Now replace x with 1 in choice B to confirm. 1 minus 3 equals -2. It was supposed to be 0, so choice B is wrong. Replace x in choice C with 0. 0 plus 3 equals 3. It was supposed to be -3, so choice C is wrong. So since choice A to C are wrong, it means choice D will be the answer. Let's confirm. Let's replace x with 0. We have 3 times 0 minus 3 equals -3 as expected. We try 1. We have 3 times 1 minus 3 equals 0 as expected. Then we try 2. We have 3 times 2 minus 3 equals 3 as expected. So D is definitely the answer. Question 14. A bus can take 12 students for a trip. How many such buses are needed to take 235 students for a school field trip? This is a straightforward division question. All you have to do to find the number of buses needed is to divide 235 by 12. You compute this on the calculator to get 19.583. For questions like this, when you get a decimal, you'll always round it up. Because even if you have one student left, you have to use a full bus to take them. So we'll round the 19.583 up to get 20 buses as our answer. This question was pretty straightforward. That's why we simply use division, but the right way to solve questions like this, especially if complexities are introduced, is to use proportion. Setting up proportions is one of the most important word problem skills on the GED. For this, we will have buses is to student. One bus took 12 students. X buses will take 235 students. We solve for x. We first cross-multiply. 12 times x is 12x. 1 times 235 is 235. Next, we can find the x by dividing both sides by 12. The 12 will cancel out. 235 divided by 12 is 19.583. You'll notice we got the same thing. The rest of the process is exactly the same. We round it up to get 20 buses as our answer. Question 15. What is 65% of 300? There are several easy ways to solve this question. You can check out our GED Math 2019 and GED Math 2020 for 2 ways of solving it. Here, we are going to use the word problem translation idea. What is what we are looking for, so we can represent it by x. Is in math means equal to. 65% is 65 over 100, which is simply 0.65 in decimal form. Of in math is multiplication. Then we have our 300. So basically this question is 0.65 times 300. Compute this on the calculator to get 195 as our answer. Question 16. Which of the following is a point on the line y equals 2x minus 7? A. 2, 5. B. 3, -1. C. 4, -3. D. -2, 2. We know that for a point, the first value is your x value and the second value is your y value. If a point lies on this line, then when you input the x value into the equation of the line, you should get the corresponding y value. So we start with option A. We replace the x with 2. We have 2 times 2 minus 7. This is -3. It was supposed to be 5. So choice A is wrong. Let's try choice B. We replace the x with 3. We have 2 times 3 minus 7. This will give us -1, which is what we expected. So choice B is the answer. Question 17. The following graph represents the score range of students in a math class. How many students are in the class? Being able to read and interpret graphs is a must on the GED. Here, the x-axis represents the score range and the y-axis represents the number of students whose score are within that range. From the graph, you'll notice that there are 3 students whose score ranged from 61 to 70. From the graph, there are 5 students whose score ranged from 71 to 80. From the graph, there are 4 students whose score ranged from 81 to 90. From the graph, there are 2 students whose score ranged from 91 to 100. We add these to get the number of students. 3 plus 5 plus 4 plus 2 equals 14. Therefore, there are 14 students in the class. Question 18. The following graph represents the score range of students in a math class. What percentage of students failed the test if the passing score is 71? Please, it's very important you master how to find percentages, especially from graphs. From the graph, we can see that 3 students scored 61 to 70. All the other students scored 71 or above. Percentage of students that failed will be the number of students that failed, which is 3, over the total number of students, which is 14, like we saw in question 17. This will be multiplied by 100 to get the percentage. Compute this on the calculator to get 21.43% failed. With what you just learned, you should be able to answer questions like what percentage of students passed and what percentage of students scored 71 to 80. Question 19. The following graph represents the score range of students in a math class. How many students scored exactly 95? This is a trick question. Most students assume that the answer is 2 students, since the 95 is within this range 91 to 100. This is wrong. A range doesn't tell you the exact values within the range, so the 2 students who scored between 91 and 100 could have scored 92 and 92, or 95 and 98, or 100 and 100, or any 2 numbers between 91 and 100. So the answer is, there's not enough data or information to answer the question. Question 20. Which of the graphs is a possible representation of the function y equals negative 3x plus 4? Here, there are no values on the graphs, so nothing to calculate. Option A and B are obviously wrong answers because they are parabolas or the graph of a quadratic function. For it to be option A or option B, the function must have x exponent 2. Both option C and option D are linear function. The slope of C is going up, so it's a positive slope. The slope of D is going down, so it's a negative slope. Now looking at the function, we see that it's in the form y equals mx plus b. We said in this form the m, or what is with the x, is the slope. Here the slope is negative 3. Since the slope is negative, the answer will be choice D. We will end this video here. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and watch our other videos. The more questions you solve or videos you watch, the better your math will be. See you in the next video.